like improve on things game by game, whether it's defensive communication or finding better looks in three. I want to ask, what are some other things you're hoping to build or improve on over next week's games?
Well, I think there's a lot. The first thing I think would be from the rebounding perspective. We have to create second chance opportunities, and also, really defend and dominate the defensive glass so we can get our transition game going. So I think rebounding is always a point of emphasis, and then continuing to do a really good job of taking care of the basketball, giving up possessions. And I think that comes into play too with shot selection. And is that the best shot? So I think a lot of times it could be a shooting turnover that maybe a lot of folks don't realize, but just really solid possessions offensively where we're taking care of the basketball, making sure that we do a nice job with our shot selection. So I think those are two on top of what you mentioned that are going to be really, really key to our success as we continue to move forward.
Elijah, we'll go back to you for a follow-up.
Yeah, and one of the things you've improved on so far this season is getting to the free throw line, both converting and like getting those chances. I want to ask, how much of a point of emphasis is that during practices to just get to this right? How much do you like emphasize that?
We've really worked hard on our free throw routines and practicing those in game like situations and multiple free throw drills that we do based off the day of the week. Today's will be different than yesterday's, for instance. And then, we chart free throws. We have a free throw ladder winner at the end of the week. And our shooting times are 30-minute shooting windows based off the position and based off their percentage from last week. And then if you're below 75% for all the game like and stationary free throws, then you have extra, which fit within our 20-hour window. So, I'm a big believer that you need to make more free throws than your opponent shoots. You have to come out and be the aggressor. The ball's got to get to the paint off the bounce or to post touches. So, free throws are really important. And I think that what it also allows you to do is to set your defense. So when you can convert at the free throw line, you're able to set your defense. We're able to set our press as well.
Jay, we'll go over to you.
Hey, Coach, just curious to know, want to know what have you seen from your bench so far, and how important is it just getting them involved early?
Yeah, I mean, I think our bench is going to be critical to our success. I think that, we continue to see our bench evolve. And honestly, practices are so competitive. It's based off who's dialed in, who's ready to go today. How did yesterday go? Who, stood out in practice. So the numbers, all the stats, the analytical data, all the things that we're using and the tools that we have in place, and then just who outdid who yesterday. So there's a lot of competition. There's not a lot of separation. It could be based off day by day, practice by practice, the next game. So I think, if what we've done today still looks big to us today, we haven't done much. So I think it's very competitive and we'll continue to see. I think when practice can stay competitive, when there's accountability, then, it allows your bench to continue to improve.
Over to Richard.
Coach, it seems as if since halftime of the McNeese State game, that Essence Cody has taken her game to another level. Does she seem to have made a switch? And what was said to her to make her take her game to another level of dominance, quite frankly?
I'm not sure. I've seen her growth throughout the course of the summer and then over the fall. I thought, there were times when, she settled with foul trouble. It kind of, can put her into, a less aggressive mode. So as long as we can continue to get her to play without the foul, protect the rim without the foul, be more disciplined defensively, I think it allows her to become more comfortable offensively in the flow of the game. So we've got to do a really good job, and it all starts with the perimeter, keeping the basketball in front of them. It's often Essence is in foul trouble. Well, let's ask why. And I think that it's just, great team defense. We've got to continue to do a good job of protecting her on the defensive end. But I also have been really pleased with Naomi. I'm also pleased with just who those two are trying to be. I think Joy Boona continues to get better. So, when you look at Alancia, it'd be nice to have her back. Alancia and Lourdes and our ability at the 4 and the 5. I think when you can, complement Essence with those kind of players, it really allows her to do some things offensively that maybe, she's not going to draw so many double and triple teams because of the folks around her. She's become a really good passer and decision maker out of the double team. She's continuing to run the floor harder. I think she's just matured, and not only have I seen it from her play, but just how vocal she is. I mean, she's willing to say the hard thing in practice. She's become, a really great leader for us, becoming one. We're still evolving, but I'm really proud of who she's trying to be every day. And honestly, frankly, when you talk about the halftime, I thought we had missed her some. We've got to throw the ball inside and make sure we put her in a position to be able to get the same look she got from the second half on of the McNeese game.
Back to Elijah.
Yeah, coach, the week break in between games allows y'all to heal up on injury front, but if such as like bruises or an injury, I want to ask how are like Alancia and Wise doing with their injuries?
Yeah, day by day, Alancia, we expect her to play on Monday, so that's going to be great. I think that the thing about it is, it's allowed us to really go back and refine some things, get back to some fundamentals, be able to focus on, our zone offense, understanding our press offense, understanding the different looks that we're seeing, understanding defensively, different game plans. And, obviously we're preparing as we move along here for multiple opponents based off, how our players are, executing offensively because we don't have a lot of time once we hit Monday to prepare multiple days ahead with especially our practice players in town. So practice plans are designed to really focus on Alabama getting better this week against different defenses, us handling different offenses. So multitude of different things we're working on this week.
We'll do a few more over to Jay.
Coach, I'm just curious to know what have you seen offensively and defensively from Alabama A&M?
Man, they're so quick and athletic and really play fast in transition. Had a chance to watch their game live last night. Maori Davenport, she's obviously, was heavily recruited and is having a great season. I think they have 4 out of 5 starters that they lost. Walker, I think, has out. I'm not sure if she'll be back Monday, but they've just got so many good transfers and players that have sit out that are prepared. Coach does such a great job there building that program, and I definitely think they're have a chance to have a really special season come league play.
Any more questions for Coach? No? All right.
Coach,
Thank you all so much.
I
Oh,
have one.
okay. Go
Coach,
ahead, Richard.
Hey.
anyone else on this team has, in your opinion, has emerged as a leader? Obviously, you have Jessica Timmons back, but have you noticed that anyone has made a big advances to be the leader of this team, especially replacing the leadership that you had on last year's team?
Yeah, I think, when you have a Zaya, St. Aaliyah, that is hard to replace, but I will say this, that I always love coaching because it's somebody else's turn. And, I've seen that evolve by committee with Carly, Jessica, in essence, but I've also seen as of late the emergence of an Ace Austin, the emergence of a Diana Collins when, you've got the basketball in your hands and everything starts up top offensively and defensively. They have to be an extension of our coaching staff. So I feel like Diana and Essence are, really putting in more of a conscious effort to lead, to talk, to have their personality and whether it's an action leader or whether it's more vocal. Our challenge has really been for both of them to be more vocal. Leadership isn't defined by age, or beauty. It's who that player needs to be in that moment. So I think it's going to come by committee like it always has, multiple ones. But I've seen Diana and Ace really make some progress and really proud of them.